Welcome to this podcast. Welcome to the channel. My name is Garrett. This is Seth. We run a Frasier Media and marketing company. And so he's the marketing side. He's the brains behind the operation. And then I am the media side, things creative, behind the camera. So what we're at today is a podcasting studio that we just built. Took us about 15 minutes in our Hammond location, and we can build one of these for you at your location whenever you need. However, we have a few questions today that we're about to get into that it's gonna really shed some light on what we do and some of the issues that people see in the space, whether it's myths, whether it's, how would you say?
Misconceptions more than anything, right?
So common misconceptions, we're going to be busting through those and giving you guys some answers that you may have had on your mind, or you may have not even known to ask these questions. So let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, Seth. So first question on my little magic phone device today that I have written down. So first question out of the magic phone of marketing is, what's the number one misconception that businesses have about getting attention online through marketing?
Getting attention online through marketing. So I would say probably the biggest misconception that businesses do have is that all attention is good attention, right? Of course, all attention is better than no attention, but you want the right attention, right? So a good creative is what's going to actually captivate that attention. It has nothing to do with the marketing side or the strategy side. It's just a really good creative. I'm telling a great story, but we want to capture the right person's attention and not waste our budget on people that aren't actually buyers. So if we're talking to contractors, for example, then we want to make sure that the verbiage used in that creative that you're so well talented with coming up with is that it's speaking to that person, not just speaking to everybody, right? We want to speak vaguely enough to where it goes, past the exact ideal avatar we're looking for, but not so vague that we're getting, a 9-year-old kid that plays Roblox interested in watching our video. That's going to do absolutely nothing for your bottom line, right?
Yeah. Nothing to move the actual meter. They're not buyers. Their parents might be buyers, but
are they going to take suggestions on a marketing company from their 9-year-old child? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
No.
Let's talk about Brian's got it there. But
yeah,
it's just getting that right attention. That's what I believe.
And you want to cast enough of, from what I understand, is you want to cast enough of a net that it can go a little bit around your ideal avatars, because they may know someone who could benefit from this.
Absolutely.
And then you're getting in lieu a referral to that business. But otherwise, or someone that might be almost ready for your services,
but aren't quite there.
But aren't quite there. Yep. Okay, cool. But then they're maturing through that pipeline, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you're actually, that's where the good creative comes in too. You're nurturing them, right? So you want to speak broad enough to where the people that aren't quite ready to buy are still interested, and it still captures their attention to where you can then nurture and warm them up. But you don't want to speak so broad or even so narrow that you include those people that are interested in your business too. So it's this happy medium of hitting that, the exact dome or atmosphere around your specific avatar, your area, for lack of better terms.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
No problem.
Hell yeah.
Well, question from you. All right. So from your side, when you're actually behind the camera, how do you actually capture that attention visually?
Attention of the viewer is what I'm guessing?
Yeah. How do you actually capture the attention of that ideal client we're looking for that casts that semi-broad net, but not too broad to where, we're wasting budget, right? So how do you hone in from behind that camera standpoint to actually grab and harness and tell that story on the right attention from the camera?
This is a very good question. So usually what I find, the easiest way to actually get these answers that you need answered, right, for the questions that you're trying to get answered, is number one, you want a strong hook, right, that's going into the answer that you're trying to cater towards your audience. So the first hook would be, I would almost backwards engineer it. So whenever I have something that I'm trying to promote or push, then I would ask questions directly to my client about whatever we're trying to push, right? Whether it's a contractor that does shingle roofing or is trying to push metal roofing, for example. This is pretty broad, but, or actually this is pretty narrow, but.
Good blanket there, good blanket.
Good blanket. So if we're trying to push metal roofs, then I would ask them, okay, so what's like a common benefit from one of these metal roofs, right? I'll start with that. And then they'll tell me some sort of answer, right? Then I'll ask them, I'll go back and forth with them. I'll ask them, well, tell me a little bit more about that. They may say that it's energy effective, it's cost savings in the long run because it's going to last you a long time. Okay, well, I'll say, well, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, did it last a long time? And they'll say, well, I mean, as opposed to other roofs, a shingle roof can last 20 years max, right? And then a metal roof can last 50 plus years, up to 100 years in an ideal situation. So this is another benefit or something that someone may have not thought of that will lure them towards acting upon contacting this contractor for a metal roof. So once I get this answer, then I want to dig a little bit deeper, and then I ask other benefits that they may not have brought up. I'll be like, okay, well, what else is there? And you kind of keep going through this digging, kind of like we're reporters.
Okay.
We're more of like journalists with a camera while we're trying to figure out where our clients are actually trying to sell their service. So what we do is we just keep digging, get all of those little answers out of them. Then you can value stack on those answers, and then you backwards engineer it for your hook that you're going to put at the beginning of the clip. And I know this one's running a long time. I'm like kind of rambling a little bit. But you backwards engineer it, so then you say, well, if you wanted a roof that's going to last twice as long as a shingle roof, here's what you would do. And then you reveal that it's a metal roof, and then you stack a few extra value points on top of it, and that's how you're going to actually like get attention from who is in the market for a roof in the first point, and who in the market for the second point is going to be able to afford a metal roof.
So basically, when you're saying your question prompting, you're looking for that question that speaks to the in the layman terms, right? For like, you know, for somebody that's not experienced in specific craft or specific trade, and you're looking for that terminology that clicks. So that's why you keep prompting.
True.
Prompting until you find that question that speaks to that wider audience.
Exactly. So if you're holding the camera, you have to use your own like discernment or your own best judgment to see or to feel when your client is speaking directly to just a normal person that would understand what you're talking about. Because if they give you a high level answer right off the bat, then that's going to do you no good. It's going to sound cool.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to sound really, really cool. But at the same time, if they give too low of an answer and it doesn't really meet your expectation of what you're trying to explain or convey, it like misses a bunch of talking points that are high value, then you want to dig a little deeper, or you want to dig a little deeper to tone it down a little bit, just to hit that sweet medium right there.
Makes sense. So you're digesting it yourself when you go out with a client, and you might not necessarily always know that attention grabbing hook, but you're looking for it and you're dissecting it and you're finding where it speaks directly to somebody that knows nothing about the craft, for lack of a better term.
Exactly. So through your question asking as a videographer, and this is how you can tell a good videographer from a very new or just mediocre videographer, is if they know how to prompt their subject or their client with those questions, and then grab that attention right whenever they hear the right thing. It's good reporting and bad reporting.
Yeah. So really you're saying, and I know we're kind of diverting here, but a great videographer is also an excellent director, right? Understanding how to pull the best out of a client, you know?
That's exactly it. So a lot of the times you'll find a videographer who has bad communication skills, then in turn they may be able to get a good quality picture, but they're getting bad quality content because it doesn't tell a story because communication is your biggest storytelling, like, what do you call that? Building block. Yeah, right? So, yeah, that's what really like sets them apart is their communication skills. And that's what you can ask anyone out there, really. There are a lot of artistic type that are less communicators or they're just less direct with their communication skills.
So if I pick that apart correctly, what you're saying is that being a good videographer, a good media head is a whole lot more than just delivering a good picture. And good content's not just a pretty film or a pretty picture. It's the encapsulation of all of it. The message, the picture, the quality, the communication, everything. That's what actually makes a good piece of content.
That's it. And then your director behind the camera will drive the direction of your message or where you're trying to drive your audience at the same time.
Okay, so your director's gonna keep that end goal in mind, right? Exactly the main reason you're probably hiring a media or marketing company to get an end goal, which we all know is revenue, customers.
Exactly.
So you're going to keep that in mind the whole time you're going about.
The entire time. And this is where it like really separates itself from just someone's niece or nephew or like someone in your family that has a camera or even has an iPhone. You can shoot all of this on an iPhone. Like, don't let me try and sell you on the fact that you need a professional camera or like professional grade equipment. You can use an iPhone with the right storytelling capabilities, and you can drive big time revenue as big as like Samsung, Verizon itself, like even State Farm, Apple. Yeah,
Apple just recorded a new commercial off of an iPhone.
Exactly.
Because to show you it's the storytelling, the direction, and the end goal over the actual device. Right?
It is. And so that's your most important part of your media and your creative. But I mean, I would even argue to say that that's the exact same thing with marketing. You can have someone that's behind a computer that knows all the best ways to save costs and acquire more business and have the best funnels on paper. But if you don't know or how to communicate to your client, right?
Yeah.
What they're trying to push and like what overall messaging that they're trying to get through for their cost per, or through their clicks or their cost per acquisition, right?
Right, absolutely.
So how does that go into play whenever someone calls you or calls us and then I say, here, this is something for our marketing division. Let's have a conversation with Seth. And then they say, well, I want more calls to my phone. How can we do that?
I think it's exactly the same process, right? It's except instead of being behind a camera, right? You're behind the layout, the framework, the funnel. That's what we call it in marketing, as the funnel, right? It starts at the creative and then goes all the way down to that last email or text message you send to get them to book a call. You can pass that at some points, but it's just all about putting yourself, exactly like you're saying. It's just two different, sides of the audience. You got to put yourself in the customer's shoes, number one. You got to ask questions. You have to experiment. You have to try new things until you find that right messaging that speaks to that ideal person, and experimentation, just like you said. You're able to experiment live in action in time behind a camera as the director, as the camera, as the lead. Towards in marketing, it takes a lot, either, if we have time with the campaign, we're going to do some back end research prior to try to figure that out. But a lot of times, you get a rush campaign job. Same thing, we're on the fly, and it just takes spending money, right? We're going to spend money, we're going to try to get some attention, we're going to see what they like, we're going to study messaging, we're going to study visual, and we're going to study creative, because creatives may be diverting here, but especially in marketing now, structuring an ad campaign you can learn to do on YouTube, guys. It's the creative that's becoming the heart of a good campaign now. Not your targeting, not your funnel framework. It's the creative. It's what they see when they're scrolling. It's what they see when they're sitting on the toilet, or it's what they see when they're taking 10-minute break at their office, or they're laying in bed at night trying to figure out, oh my God, I got to make payroll next week and I need more clients. It's the creative that grabs their attention. And I think that's why, Frasier Media has been such a success, is because it's the creative that's now taken the standpoint in media, in marketing, over just, dynamic targeting and putting together a, great, fantastic funnel. It starts there, and you can't worry about the rest of the back end until you grab the right attention with a good visual and a good creative, and then bring them in. And then from there, the creative that you're coming up with already gives the marketing department with a direction for messaging, right? Whatever that question you come up with out of the 400 questions you may have asked that day, until you find that one, right? You found that one working with them. And then we take that question and then dissect it. Who was he speaking to? Who did that talk to?
And that gives you analytics.
Gives us all the analytics. It gives us, without having to spend money on a test budget, right?
Yeah.
We get to have it in the creative side.
All the info.
And
Instruments.
Say that again?
And measurements. How would you measure this type of a thing?
Measuring it, it's going to be off initial launch, right? It's going to be off initial launch. You take that good creative and it speaks to the right person, then it's simply just putting enough attention behind it. And attention, we both know, can be purchased. Now, the cost of attention depends on your creative, right? A good creative is going to have a lower cost for attention versus a bad creative.
What's an example of a bad creative that has high cost versus good creative that has low cost?
A bad creative that has high cost.
Yeah.
I would say,
is there one that you can think of off the top of your head?
Top of my head, any highly produced Hollywood style advertisement.
For real?
Off the floor now. You're wasting so much time, effort, energy, and budget when you're the one that showed me this.
Yeah.
Something as simple as having the right messaging and doing this beats spending, 6 figures on, a Super Bowl quality commercial with the wrong messaging.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think, maybe I'm ranting, but
so fancy equipment versus good storytelling.
Fancy equipment versus good storytelling. Right.
True.
It's the storytelling more than anything. It's the messaging more than anything. And when you pair those together with good equipment, it's when the fireworks happen.
Oh.
Like that good storytelling, good quality production.
Dang. I've noticed some people actually knocking it out of the park with just iPhones.
I know.
Too.
And it pisses you off. Pisses me off.
Dang, this is awesome.
It's awesome, but it's also
we're actually going to be filming some of our upcoming commercials and ads on an iPhone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we have an adapter for these microphones to plug straight into there. And we notice also, especially with the upcoming trends and the way that content is pivoting, that people pay more attention to iPhone quality video because it feels like it's a normal reel in the actual feed, versus you can pick out an ad within the first 2.5 seconds as soon as it comes up, just based on the resolution. If it's super high quality, which we use nice cameras, and then sometimes we'll lower the quality of it.
Just said that.
So that it looks like an iPhone, but also so that it doesn't give away that it's an ad, but also these cameras are easier to use than an iPhone as far as transferring all the footage over. It's a easier workflow. So then we can batch a whole lot of information together, or a whole lot of content all at once. And it just makes it easier workflow. But we want to get a similar picture quality to an iPhone, just so that we're not disqualifying ourselves off of those first 3 seconds.
Yeah, we want it to feel organic, right?
Exactly.
You want it to feel organic. You want it to feel non-soliciting.
You want to be a little bit sneaky.
You want to be a little sneaky, and that's the opposite of traditional marketing and advertisement. Buy from us. Don't do that no more. You're going to fail.
Yep, exactly.
You're going to fail.
You're going to be just, you're going to be relatable. You're going to be yourself more than anything.
Yeah.
You want to be authentic. Authenticity is what's selling right now. And authenticity is really just the best way to communicate to your audience, right?
I agree with that. And I think authenticity is going to do nothing but grow, especially with, I see it, sitting behind a computer most of the time, the rise in AI, the rise in And I know we hear it from business owners. Oh, I can have AI make videos. I can have AI make ads. I can have AI do this. That's why authenticity is standing out, is because we can all make a Hollywood film with a couple hours of some good prompting, right? But telling a unique, true story from your personal perspective can still only be done by a person.
AI has never had the actual experiences that you have.
No, it's just data, right? And
So it can't tell the stories that you know.
can't tell us, it can't have feelings, it can't have emotions. It can simulate, but we all know there's a big difference between simulated reality and reality, right?
Yeah. So AI wouldn't be able to make an ongoing series that takes you through your life, essentially.
Essentially, right? I mean,
Right?
I don't want to discredit, AI, but
AI is pretty good.
powerful, but
But let's say like you are doing things locally in your community and you're the bridge, or you're bridging that gap between your community and your online community, like locally and then in the cloud. So like if it's, for example, in Tampa, St. Pete, or even in Hammond, Louisiana, you are let's call it the translator that translates real world events onto online. And so you're the one that's documenting, and AI can't actually document what's going on in real time in real life. If you were around doing, whether it's street interviews or actual inside a brick and mortar, let's say there's a bakery or like a bake shop that opens up, well, the AI, you can take pictures in there, but they don't have the actual, like, the events that are happening in real time.
no.
That would be able to capture and then put it online to tell your story. It would be more of hopping on social trends
Yeah,
more than anything.
agree.
Yeah,
It's not a human, right?
exactly.
It responds to what you prompted. So, you can tell it a great story. We can tell AI to make a podcast of doing exactly this. There is no shot it's ever going to come up with this exact setup we have, with the exact words, with the exact responses, the exact emotions that are happening right now. It's impossible. It's a computer. It's thinking off of
It's not
logic, not human emotion, right?
Yeah, it's a fact. That being said, I think this is a great point that we wrap it up right here and say that this is our first podcast. Thanks for joining us. Do you have anything to say to all of them?
Get the right attention. Creative is the key. That's it.
Get creative, make your creative, and be creative while doing it. And then use marketing to drive that creative to your ideal audience. Make sure that you're measuring all of your metrics and turn around. See exactly what's working and what's not, and then pour gas on the fire that is. So if you want more information like this in the future or right now, then go ahead and like and subscribe. And otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.